man. You are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They lost the Super Bowl. They suck. The Philadelphia Eagles have always sucked. Philadelphia Eagles suck right now, and the Philadelphia Eagles will always suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. A very, very, very happy edition of the Gridiron. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody going to spend any time with me here at all this evening? Thank you so much. Or anybody going to spend any time watching a replay of this? Thank you, thank you, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to shoot my mouth off here for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, throw in the chat box, fire away. I usually check on the chat box like every 5 to 10 minutes or so. So anything gets put in there, I try to see it. As soon as I see it, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. All right. Before we get started, anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link, okay, it takes you to my membership page. The first membership I got is called the Saquon. There's 3 membership levels. First, called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one is called the Gridiron. Each membership's got their own little perks to them and everything. There's loyalty badges. There is 8 different loyalty badges. Each one, it's a different Giants helmet. Okay. The older the Giants helmet is, the longer you've been a supporter of my channel. If you get the leather helmet associated with your name, that means you've been a supporter of my channel for a very long time. There's 4 emojis. Eventually, there will be a 5th emoji coming out. Right now, there's 4 of them. I had them made up on Fiverr. Every time I look at them, they crack me up. You can use them like in the chat box if you're going to use in a comment or something like that or whatever. So anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put out a video or whatever, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? Right now, I'm up to 5,768 subscribers. What the hell I start the day with? 5729. So I'm at 30. Is that right? Yeah, 39 subscribers I've gone up so far today. Ever since the season's been over, I'll tell you what, I'm going up like 20, 30 or so, almost 40 subscribers so far today. And it was a couple weeks ago, I hit the 5,000 subscriber mark. I couldn't believe it. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would actually get 5,000 subscribers, but now I'm on my way. Hopefully by maybe like, toward the end of this week, early next week, whatever, I'll be on almost 6,000 subscribers. So please, if you're not subscribed, please go down and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much. Thank you. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links, right? The top Facebook link takes you to a group I got. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. Right now, there's over 2,100 members in there. Okay. Everything, my YouTube channel, Facebook group, Facebook page, it's all called the New York Giants Gridiron. That way, even a moron like me can remember them all. All right. But in the group, okay, it's a 7-day a week thing. Every day of the week, I'm trying to put at least 10 different posts in there every day, whether it's just a picture or something, a video, something showing some stats, whatever, I'm always trying to put at least 10 different items in there every day. And not only is it me, but if you become a member, you can post stuff in there as well too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. Right. And then also there's another link. All right. In the description box below, there's the second link. Okay, it takes you to my Facebook page. It's called, once again, the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And right now we have 611 people who like it and over 20. It was over 2,600 yesterday. Well, now there's over 2,700 followers in here. It's taken like every couple of days. I'm going up like another 100 followers. The page is really taking off. Let me tell you what. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one that posts in there. But it's the same thing like is in the group. I try at least 10 new items every day, whatever you want to call them, posts or whatever, every day, a video, every day. So, and I don't commingle them. Usually I don't like whatever I put in the page, I don't put on in the group and vice versa. Okay. So between the page and the group, there's at least 20 to 25 items, posts, pictures, videos, whatever gets put in there every day. So go over to the page, like it and follow it, go over to the group and become a member. And between the two, you get a ton of New York Giants stuff every day. And if you're not satisfied, you get your money back, guaranteed. All right, so all that stuff said and done, all out of the way with, boy, I'll tell you what, man, huh? I was going to do a video last night, going to go live, but it was just kind of late and everything. I didn't know how many people were going to be up. There we go. Giants had some old player. Yeah, I tell you what. The Giants had some influence on the last 2 Super Bowls. We had a little Eli Apple kind of flavor. He gave up the game-winning touchdown when he was with the Bengals. Of course, I was kind of pulling for the Bengals, but Eli Apple, he's talking bad about the Giants. He was talking bad about the Saints, the city, and all that and everything. So so he gave up the game-winning touchdown 2 Super Bowl, not this Super Bowl, but the last Super Bowl when he was with the Bengals. Okay, and then who'd have thunk it, huh? Little James Bradbury, little Kadarius. Well, I mean, we know Kadarius Toney is a freak. I mean, you can't cover, you can't catch the guy, this, that, and but I mean, Shane, for whatever reason, just doesn't want him there. I mean, he's always injured too. I mean, so, I mean, I don't know exactly why. You're never going to know why Shane got rid of him, if there's something else to it or whatever. But Kadarius Toney said it wasn't his choice to leave or whatever. But good for him. Now the dude's got himself a Super Bowl ring. Good for him. Now, hopefully, if he stays there, hopefully the guy stays healthy. And who knows? Maybe he'll get another Super Bowl ring. I mean, the guy's always got a smile on his face. And this, that, and the other thing. The guy's an unbelievable talent. I mean, the moves the guy, that's God-given. You can't practice that. You can't, nothing. You're either giving it or you're like me, and you're not giving it, right? But, I mean, true, yep, oh, yeah. Well, I think I'm not up on date on all of this other stuff, but, right, I think if we trade him away, right, to Kansas City, I think they still have the 5th-year option on him, I think. So if they want, they got 3 more years, right? Because this is only his 2nd year. So they have his 3rd year, his 4th year, and then they can pick up his 5th-year option, whatever that might wind up being. But I'm sure that'll be a lot cheaper than signing the dude to a contract. So they could possibly have him for another 3 years. Right. And he was picked number 21. So, he's not a big cap hit. I mean, if the guy can stay on the field, I mean, the man is special. And you saw what he did in that punt return, right? A little move to the left. Nobody could touch him. He went down the sideline. Shame he couldn't stay. He just got knocked out of bounds there around like the 5-yard line or so. But, right. Just special. You know what I mean? So it just, I said, the guy just can't stay healthy. It's a shame. But the one that he caught, I mean, he was wide open. I mean, he came in motion, snapped the ball. He went back out there. I was trying to cover him. I don't know, Slay or exactly who was supposed to be covering him, but there ain't nobody covering him. He was wide open. And then I think their last touchdown, the guy was wide open. I mean, Man, Slay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he thought they were supposed to switch or something. I don't know if Slay came so far inside, the other guy was supposed to switch with him, and he was supposed to go out there. Maybe Slay covered because there was another guy. I don't know who was in the slot there. They were supposed to switch, but I mean, Kadarius put a move on. Forget about it. Game change. Oh yeah, I mean, see, I want to go over is that what did the Giants learn? I mean, this is a good. The Eagles are up 24-14 at halftime. Looks like, it looks like the Eagles could put up a 40 burger if they wanted to. Yeah, I hate Tony especially. Well, if a guy can catch the ball, and put his moves on. I mean, obviously, yeah, he's susceptible to getting hurt. But because that's one of those plays. I mean, usually like if you're a wide receiver, sometimes you catch the ball, the guys are converging on you. Sometimes a lot of guys you've seen like Randy Moss used to do this. Some of the other guys, what it would happen when they know it's time to get tackled, they go down, right? They go down to the ground and they either give themselves up or the guys, touch them. On a punt return, you don't really do that. Unless you run out of bounds or something. Kadarius is like a walking injury waiting to happen. But on punt returns, you don't do that. You don't run. Oh, okay, they're coming in on me. Let me get down. You really see that on punt returns. Punt returns, it's you return it until you either run out of bounds or until somebody tackles you. But but you see, the guy's special, right? He is special. But the Giants, I'm sorry, the Eagles up 24-14 and they scored 24 points in the first half. Scored 11 points in the second half. The Chiefs scored 14 points in the first. They scored 24 in the second half. One of the, huge things, right? Huge adjustments, right? The good coaching staffs can make. Some of you have to make adjustments on the fly, but other ones you make some adjustments at halftime. And, you could tell. It took the Eagles. What were the Eagles? So what? I forgot what it was. 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it was left to go in the fourth quarter. It took them almost the whole second half before they scored a touchdown. And then before that, they scored a field goal. Adjustments. That's huge, right? And, the Eagles were given all year long. They had a healthy team. They're the fourth least injured team in all of football. They're given an unbelievable lineup. Now, there's another thing. The Eagles have all kinds of free agents next year. They have like one. Well, so does every team, but they got some boomers here. Obviously Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Andre Dillard, their first round draft pick from a couple years ago, right? Samolo, their guard, he'll be 30 years old next year. So I'm not sure if the Giants want to go out, but he had a phenomenal season. James Bradbury, they just signed him for the 1 year. Jason Kelsey, their Hall of Fame center. Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, Robert Quinn, another defensive end. Fletcher Cox, Miles Sanders, their star running back. Boston Scott, the Giant killer. He's a free agent as well. Gardner Minshew, their backup quarterback. They got a lot of guys. And not only that, the one thing, obviously, it's one thing Joe Shane does not want to do. And this is what they did with Philadelphia. They're kicking the can down the road, right? And this is something, basically, it was all in. They took the Eagles took all the chips, right? Pushed it all in the center of the table, right? They got to put it all in this year. Now, they got guys that they're on their for next year, on their payroll next year, who aren't going to be on the team, that they're paying. That looks like to me like they got guys on their roster after this year that they're going to be paying for. They're going to have cap hits for the next 4 years, and they're not on the roster. I mean, if we go to James, where was James Bradbury at? I mean, he didn't wind up. He wasn't too much of a big hit. Okay, James Bradbury. Here we go. James Bradbury. Right. I mean, he won't be on the team. He's an unrestricted free agent. They can't pay him. They only have like $8 million. So basically, I don't even think they have enough money to sign their draft class next year. Right. But there's a cap hit. James Bradbury has a cap hit for the Eagles for the next 4 seasons. His cap hit this year was only $2.2 million. That's why the Eagles were able to bring him on. I mean, a lot of people are like, man, why the Eagles got all these good? They're so good. Well, no kidding. You know what I mean? Yeah, what they do is they bring in all these guys. They put them on the roster. James Bradbury, they're paying him like $2 million this year. Well, next year his cap hit when he's not on the team is almost $5 million. Then the next 3 years after that, he's not on the team and he still has a cap hit. So what the Eagles did, okay, which is really, I mean, you can look at it one or two ways. It's like, well, if you get to a Super Bowl and you win a Super Bowl, is it worth it? You know, but I mean, they're like ruining, not totally ruining their salary cap for the next bunch of years, but I mean, James Bradbury is not going to be on the team, and for the next 4 years, he has a cap hit because the Eagles were bringing in all these guys, right? Paying them like almost nothing this year as far as the cap hit, okay? But we'll pay you for the next 3,000 years. How's that sound? So we can get a great team this year, okay? Well, that's that. I mean, next year, James Bradbury's cap hit when he's not on the team is $4.9 million. Then the next 3 years he's $1.243 million, almost $1.25 million for the next 3 seasons, and he won't even be on the team. I mean, this is something obviously that Shane, something you do not want to do, and this is what Shane's trying not to do as far as making a mess of your salary cap. Now, another thing, Javon Hargrave, the very good defensive tackle, right? He's a free agent, right? He won't be on the team next year, okay? The Eagles are paying him for the next 3 seasons. His cap hit next year, he won't be on the team, okay? So the Eagles could bring in all these good guys and build up this phenomenal team, okay? That's the only reason why they had such a good team, okay? His cap hit is $11.9 million, almost $12 million. His cap hit is going to be next year on the Eagles, and he won't be on the team. Then they're paying him 2 more years after that, and he won't be on the team. I mean, just made an absolute unbelievable mess. Jason Kelce, same thing here. They're phenomenal center, Hall of Fame center. Okay, he's an unrestricted free agent. Okay. Next year, his cap hit. He won't be on the team because they can't afford to pay him unless they're going to start moving some money around or whatever. But for the most part, I don't think he's going to be on the team. He might be retired because next year he'll be 36. So he might be retired and the Eagles will be paying him for 4 more years. His cap hit is $11 million next year, and he won't be on the team. $5 million a year after that, $4 million and $2 million. I mean, the Eagles pushed all the chips, the general manager pushed all the chips in the middle of the table to win this year. So this year, they got a bunch of guys that are going to be leaving. Juan Gannon out, Hurts contract. I hate that. Was it Hurts? He's got 1 more year. Then they got because he was a second rounder. So the Eagles don't have a 5th-year option on him, right? Now, when they sign him to a longer deal, obviously, usually the way it works out, a lot of times the first year of the new contract is nothing unbelievable. They'll give him some signing bonus. That way they can give him some money up front and take that signing bonus and break it up over the years of the contract. So usually a lot of times at first, like say he gets $40 million a year. I'm just throwing a number out there. Don't know. Could be 45. Don't know. But they'll give him a signing bonus, and usually instead of $40 million a year, maybe his first year might only be 15 or say 20 or something like that. But they did the same. The same thing happened when they had Carson Wentz. They won the one time they won the Super Bowl was on his rookie deal. Okay, they got a bunch of nice guys around them, right? But they won on his rookie deal. That's the same thing here with Jalen Hurts. Gonna be kind of interesting because when Wentz, right, got up there after a few years, they drafted Jalen Hurts in the second year. It's gonna be kind of interesting to see what the Eagles do here, right? Because once they start having to pay Jalen Hurts, do they maybe a little dibble and dabble in the second round or something and grab a quarterback, right? And maybe try to scoot Jalen Hurts out the door and bring this other quarterback in on a rookie deal. Because what the Eagles have done, I mean, they had two very good teams without question. I think it was 2017 and obviously this year, but they were doing it on rookie deals, right? And rookie quarterback deals. And I said, so in a couple of years when Jalen Hurts is, he's going to want, he's making like I don't know, what do you make? Like $2 million? What the hell? My bad. I got their I'm an idiot. Let's see. All right, so I can find what Jalen Hurts is making next year. Jalen Hurts. Okay, well, they got him 4.8. They must have restructured his cap. It is 4.8. Okay, 4.8, almost 4.9 next year. Okay, and what's his cap hit the year after that? Let's see, 2023. Okay, all right, next year. Okay, I'm sorry. That's Next year is his fourth year. It'll be like 4 point because they restructured everything. So his cap hit's only like 1.1 million the first year, 1.3 to 1.6. Now next year it's going to go up to almost 5 million next year. Okay, that's his final season. Then they're going to have to, pay the man. Okay, or they're going to lose him. All right. But I mean, this is something that they've been trying to do, is trying to build a nice team around them. Okay. And to get them to the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, once again, a lot of things fell their way. A lot of things, right? They said they were the fourth least injured team according to Man Games Lost. Okay, they were the fourth least injured team in all of football. The Eagles. Okay, so they got lucky with their injuries. Okay, I mean, you see Patrick Mahomes walking around out there on kind of like one leg. I mean, things were just lining up really. I mean, you look the last four games they played. Okay, they played the Giants, third string quarterback. Then they had a week off. Then they played the Giants in the playoffs against the first stringer, right? Then they played the San Francisco 49ers, third and fourth string quarterback. And then by the time the third string quarterback had to come back in the game, he couldn't throw the football. Okay. So they had to beat the Giants' third string quarterback. They had to beat the San Francisco's third string quarterback who couldn't throw a football. And then they had to play against in the Super Bowl against the quarterback basically on one leg. Right. So things were really lining up really, really well. I mean, everything was falling in place just perfectly for the Eagles. Absolutely perfectly. But one thing I do hear a lot about is that a lot of them, so I'm down here in Eagle country. I'm down in South Jersey, unfortunately. But a lot of them are complaining about the call that went against Bradbury in the Super Bowl. Now that's it. I mean, I got to give it to him. I would be made too. They're very, very ticky tack. I mean, that's not something you do not call that. Yeah, you don't call that. Whatever it was, 2-3 minutes left to go in the Super Bowl. It's tied. Nah, you ain't calling that. Apparently there was like 60-something passes thrown before that, and there was not one defensive pass interference or holding called. And the guy pulls that out there, then, nah, you don't call that. Absolutely not. But it was called. It is what it is. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that none of the Eagles up here, down here, I'm sorry. Actually, the Eagles were making fun of the 49ers because they were complaining a lot of 49 players were complaining and the fans were complaining because they were, as the Eagles said, whining because the 49ers didn't have really a quarterback to put in the game, in the championship game. I mean, their third string quarterback hurt his elbow, so he couldn't throw. Then the fourth stringer got knocked out of the game. They're snapping the ball to McCaffrey. I mean, right? So the 49ers are complaining about that. But the Eagles, the low-life scumbag Eagle fans that are down here, they were calling the 49ers the 40 whiners. San Francisco 40. They say that they whine more than the Cowboy fans do because the 49ers were complaining about their quarterback situation in the championship game, right? But now it's funny because now all the Eagle fans around here are all complaining about the penalty that got called on Bradbury. So they're whining about that. So it's okay to make fun of the 49ers that they're complaining, right? But I mean, the Eagles have we can't have a penalty called on us in the Super Bowl. Oh, that's not right. Well, the Eagles are all whining now because of that. But tough. You guys lost. You freaking losers, right? But it is what it is, right? They got called. Maybe if your defense was better. I mean, as I said, a lot of it, you can learn a lot about, I said, like coaching and everything. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was on one leg and the Eagles didn't sack him one time the whole game, right? That phenomenal, the 300,000 sack defense that the Eagles had this year didn't get one sack, right? I mean, the second half, Chiefs just walked up and down the field. Up and down the field. Every time they got in the red zone, they scored, except for I think the last one. I guess. Well, but they got lucky too. Good, but he missed the one field goal, had the doink, right? The Eagles also got lucky too because that other one, the guy, was it Sanders, whoever it was, caught the ball. He didn't quite take the third step. He had the 2 feet and down. He had control, but he didn't get the third motion or something, whatever that bull crap is that they have for these stupid, idiotic completed pass rules, which got knocked, ball fumbled. They ran it back. That's another touchdown the Chiefs could have had. So the Chiefs could have put up almost like 50 points on these Eagles. But I mean, that, right? The things were really lining up really, really well for the Eagles. Really. And it didn't come to pass. But one thing you can learn, obviously, with the Eagles, okay, is that their offensive line is just phenomenal, right? You don't need a star running back. You don't need Saquon. I hope they bring him back because it'd be tough. I think really it'd be tough to go into next season with just Daniel Jones, because whether you got Saquon, Saquon's a weapon. Okay. Now, whether he's a running back, tight end, a punter, wide receiver, whatever, he's a weapon. If you don't bring him back, so you mean to tell me you're going to go out and try to pay DeAndre Hopkins, trade for that guy maybe and pay him $25 million a year, but you don't want to pay Saquon 15, so. But I mean, the point to that is that, see a lot of these teams winning Super Bowls, they don't have the star running back making the big time bucks. But I mean, what the Eagles did, or what they had, is, in the trenches. The Eagles very, very good in the trenches. The Eagles have been very good in the trenches for a long time. Now I said, this year was a little exceptional because Howie Roseman there, the Eagles GM, he brought in a bunch of guys, right? Just to push all the chips in the middle of the table this year, right? Signed a bunch of guys, realizing they're only, like James Bradbury, he's only going to be on a team 1 year. And after this, you're going to be paying James Bradbury. He's going to have a cap hit for the Eagles for the next 4 years. And he won't be on the team, right? So that's something, that Joe Shane, as I'm sure, is obviously well aware of, and try to avoid. He's trying to straighten out a cap situation, right? So we don't want to have a lot of dead money, but apparently, the Eagles do, right? But I mean, as I look at the Eagles, I mean, one thing, what on offense, right? And they have a very good offensive line coach. Very good. Okay. I mean, you look at a lot of these guys, right, that they have on their offensive line. Not a lot of them are like high draft picks, right? Dillard, their tackle, they took that guy in the first round, and he can't even make the team, make the start. I mean, right? But the offensive line, very good, right? Now, I'm not sure our coach is going to be able, well, we'll see, right? But the Eagles start up front, the offensive line, very, very good. Hey, man, if you ever need a go-to talk about the Seahawks NFC West, hold on, I got something in the way here. Woo! Need a guy to talk about the Seahawks NFC West. Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. That's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Good to know. But I mean, the Eagles up front, right? Starts up front, and if you got the line up front, right? Yeah, you go running back by committee, which is what the Eagles do. They do that very well. They rotate guys in, some nice running backs, right? But also you got to look at what they what Howie Roseman went out this and did for the Eagles. He got Brown, the beast from the East, and the guy's he's just big. He goes throw it up deep. I'm coming down with it. I mean, he's just and the guys, and then he drafted DeVonta Smith, right? So he's got on both sides, right? Because a lot of times it's like if you have like one guy, okay, on one side, you have somebody underneath, you got somebody over top of them, okay, so you can kind of, obviously if the guy's really good, it's kind of tough to take a guy out of a game totally, but if you got one guy, I mean, you can do enough maybe to minimize his damage. But with the Eagles, right, they got one guy over here, they got another guy over here, and then they got Goddard, who's not maybe, the greatest tight end of all time, but, he's big, he's good hands, right? So if you're paying attention to Smith and Brown out here, that leaves a little opening in the middle there for Goddard. I mean, then they got they have other wide receivers too, So what they saw, right, is what hopefully the Giants. Now, as I said, with the Giants, it's a building process, right? Yeah, we didn't win one playoff game this year. Okay, well, we're winning the Super Bowl next. That's not happening, guys. That's not happening, right? It's a building process. But, to try to build up that offensive line, okay, and you got to get some weapons. Got to get some weapons out there. It's kind of tough to dink and dunk your way down the field, and continue to score touchdowns. I mean, the Giants were like last in the league as far as like long passes. I mean, what do you think about Daniel Jones? Well, they're trying to, as far as I know, they're trying to re-sign him. If not, hopefully they'll maybe put the franchise tag on him. And then that gives him to like July to work out some type of a long-term deal for him. But I think he seems like he's the guy. He's going to be coming back. Now, I mean, with him, I mean, he was with Duke. He was at Duke. Then when the Giants drafted him in 2019, he had 1 year with Pat Shurmur. Then he had 2 years with Jason Garrett with the Giants. So that was his third offensive set. Now he was with Brian Dable, right? So and Mike Kafka. So in the past 5 seasons, he's had 4 different offensive coordinators / offensive systems. It would really work to his advantage if he was to come back once again, busy his second season, right, in the same system, right? Maybe we can upgrade his weapons a little bit, maybe upgrade the offensive line, maybe get a true center in there, right? A true center. And, his number shoot maybe even get a little bit better, right? And somewhere along the line, hopefully in these next 2 or 3 years, we can get him a number one, right? And as I said, maybe each year you add we got Hodgins this year, and we got Wan'Dale Robinson. Hopefully we've got those 2 guys, and we got Daniel Bellinger, we get those guys and we keep those guys moving forward. And I said, maybe each year you add a little something to it. You don't have to bring 13 wide receivers all in. Say, can you bring in one wide receiver every year? Right? Because we're going to lose a couple. We might lose Richie James. I don't know if we bring Sterling Shepard back. Darius Slayton, we're going to lose him possibly. But you got to keep bringing guys in, right? So, I mean, we got a little nice little core guys there, but, we need to keep bringing more guys in. But we got to get him a number one wide receiver. All open things up. Once you start opening things up, Daniel Jones will look even better. So I think he's our quarterback for the foreseeable future, without question. It seems like Dable does very, very well. He did very well in Buffalo with Josh Allen. He's doing very well here with Daniel Jones. He takes the playbook and he designs the playbook around the strengths of the quarterback. It's not like, all right, Daniel, these are the plays we got. Those are the plays you're running. If you can't run those plays, you're screwed. Right? This will be your last year with the Giants. No, it's like, Daniel, what do you do best? What plays do you like? What throws do you like? What formation, whatever, right? What do you feel comfortable with? And I remember Dable was talking about something like he had Daniel Jones came over a couple of times. I think they were smoking cigars out by his pool or something like that. And they were going through a bunch of playbooks. And they were just like going over a bunch of plays. What do you like? What do you, and he built his, around Daniel Jones, what Daniel Jones likes to throw. So I would certainly think, without question, it would be to Daniel Jones' advantage to also try to come back too. But I mean, the Giants, if they don't sign him, I don't know who they're going to get. It's hard to get a decent quarterback to take a team-friendly deal, though. Oh yeah. Oh, I think we were in the same situation with Geno. Yeah, I mean, is this only Geno's only year with Seattle, or is he a free agent? Yeah, I mean, see the thing with Geno. I mean, you guys got some weapons out there, right? I mean, Lockett and Metcalf. I mean, you guys, No, it's his third. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, here's a free. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I mean, I think Daniel's definitely gonna. I mean, command probably 35 to 40, somewhere around there. Be interesting to see where they go. The Giants didn't pick up his fifth-year option, which would be like $22.5 million, which would be a bargain right now. But at the beginning of the season, if you by the evidence that you have, right, you have all this evidence written down, and you look at Daniel, are we going to pay Daniel Jones $22.5 million now? Are we going to guarantee him $22.5 million? You look at all the evidence and say, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, if you want some money, you're going to have to go prove it. And Daniel Jones proved it this year, right? But I'm saying, the Giants could have had him next year for 22.5, or 22 something. But Daniel Jones bet on himself, and it's paying off. Don't pay a quarterback that much, So I mean, I think it's like around 35 to 40. I think where he's probably going to wind up doing. But I mean, there's not. I mean, the Giants have Tyrod Taylor next year. Now so if they don't sign Daniel Jones, they do have a starting quarterback. And Tyrod can do a decent job. But Tyrod, next year's Tyrod's last year with the Giants. So if they don't sign Daniel Jones, they have Tyrod for one more year. I guess they could bring Tyrod back, but Tyrod's been around for a while too. I don't think he's the long-term solution. So, and the Giants are drafting 25th in the first round. So I don't know, if they're going to be able to pick up a quarterback. And if they don't pick up a quarterback, I don't know, who they're going to get. I mean, if they get somebody decent, it's going to cost them some money. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think Levis is going to get to 25? I mean, I got Young and Stroud and Levis and Richardson. I mean, and then there's the guy from Tennessee. I mean, I'm hearing like maybe he's not quite polished or whatever. Richardson, he's not quite. Richardson's got like a ton of talent, ton of possibilities and all, but a little raw. I mean, maybe that's something that, they could try to bring in, if they don't want to. Hendon Hooker. Yeah, from Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, I heard some nice things about it. I was looking at some of his film, but the thing is, a lot of times you look at YouTube videos and you look at his highlights. Well, it's nothing but good stuff. So after you see all these videos of Hendon Hooker, you're like, damn, that guy's good. All he does is complete passes. I mean, oh my God, he could be the first pick overall. You know what I mean? So you don't see all the throws, the overthrows or something that, maybe, whatever. He gets sacked and the ball fumbles or he throws an intercept. You don't see that in videos, and I don't spend the time, and I don't have the time to analyze each quarterback in the draft and watch 50 hours of their game film. I don't do that. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I just don't have the time for that. I just want to pay a quarterback like Geno Daniel any more than. Well, the thing is, I mean, because all it takes is one team. I mean, you could say, yeah, we're not going to pay, but somebody will. I mean, it's so competitive out there. I mean, they've seen what Geno can do, but it helps. I mean, Geno, had some good weapons. Now, I don't know if Geno was on the Giants with the Giants' weapons. I'm not sure if Geno would be as successful as he was with Seattle, right? But the thing is, all it takes is one team. One quarterback desperate team to go to Geno. Hey, Geno, we got $38 million for you. What do you think, brother? You know what I mean? One quarter. I mean, every year there's teams that need quarterbacks, and Geno had a very good year, right? So, but I mean, somebody, if the Giants don't sign Daniel Jones, somebody will. Let him walk. Oh, well, I'm saying somebody's going to sign him. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, there's always every year. It's always the quarterback carousel. It's always the coaching carousel, right? Who gets let go, who goes here, who goes there, right? But I mean, every year with 32 teams, there's always whatever, 10 teams or so. Just throwing a number out there who need quarterbacks every year, right? So, I mean, if somebody, I'm saying if the Seattle lets him walk, somebody will sign him. And same thing with Daniel Jones. If the Giants don't sign him, somebody will sign him, right? And I said, all it takes is one team to blow him out of. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson. I mean, look what the Browns did with him. I mean, the guy was out of football for a year, right? Had all this, legal trouble and all of that. Might still have legal trouble, maybe somewhere down along the line. I don't know. But he was out of, and they threw a number at him and they guaranteed everything. And like all the other owners are just like, that's like an unwritten rule. You don't guarantee the whole contract. Well, they're that desperate and that needy. Deshaun, we'll give you whatever. I forgot what the number is, 45 a year, whatever. All guaranteed, brother. Come on in, brother. We love you. That's all it takes. One. I mean, because it's becoming such a business. It's so, Yep. Sean, massage Watson. Yeah. How about a massage with that, huh? Yeah. It is what it is. But I mean, as I said, with the Browns, all it takes is one team. And I know all the other owners were pissed off because you don't guarantee the 100% of it. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. 2/3 of it, 3/4, maybe at the most. You give them $200 million, you guarantee maybe 150 or 140 or whatever. You don't guarantee the whole thing. But, some of the agents now, I'm sure, are probably going up to their teams. Are like, well, the Browns, they guaranteed all the money for Deshaun Watson. Well, how come you guys aren't going to do, So hopefully that trend breaks, but we'll have to wait and see. But I said, all it takes is one team. One team, and they're out there, right? I mean, because you look at these owners, some of them are just so competitive, right? They on the outside, you look at them, they look like nice people and all, but inside, inside got to win. Very, very, very competitive. And I said, oh, and the quarterback is it. If you don't got a quarterback, you're gonna have a hard time winning, right? It's the most difficult position in all sports, right? If you don't have a quarterback, it's really tough to win, especially nowadays in the NFL. I mean, I said, look at all the, right? How many, Tom Brady, right? You got what, Stafford 2 years ago, right? I mean, then you got, but Stafford and Joe Burrow won the Super Bowl last year. Who won it this year? Patrick Mahomes, right? Then you got Brady beat Mahomes. Then you had Mahomes beat what was it? Mahomes beat Jimmy G, right? So I mean, and then when the Eagles won, they had Carson Wentz, right? But I mean, he wasn't the Nick Foles was the starter, okay? But who did he go up against? Tom Brady, right? But so, I mean, you look at there's themes here. You know what I mean? The Giants won of late. I'm not saying going back into the 70s, although back in the 70s, they were all Hall of Fame quarterbacks back then too. 1970, Johnny Unitas. 71, Roger Staubach. 72, Bob Greasy. 73, Bob Greasy. 74, 75, Terry Bradshaw. 76, the Oakland Raiders. I can't remember the Snake Stabler. 77 was Roger Staubach. 78, 79 was Terry Bradshaw. So everybody in the 70s, and in 1980 had Jim Plunkett, who won a couple Super Bowls. So, I mean, the first 4 Super Bowls, Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Len Dawson, all Hall of Famers. It's an important position, really important position. Yeah, Snake. Yeah, Snake. I mean, left-handed. I mean, they had a great team then too. But I mean, but I said, like, everybody's in the Hall of Fame from the 70s, from 70 to 79. Actually, the first, whatever, from 67 to 79, all those quarterbacks who won the Super Bowl were in the Hall of Fame. How about defensive needs for the Giants? Well, they got their inside linebackers are weak, right? I mean, they're horrible time containing the run. Horrible. Their interior defensive line, they got Leonard Williams and Sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence. But besides those guys, the guys behind them are weak, right? We got 2 good edge rushers, but behind them, we're a little weak. I said the inside linebackers, we could use another good starting cornerback. We got Adoree Jackson, but somebody else on the other side. We got a couple other guys, but they've been injured, right? Our safeties, we got some safeties. That's a good combo on it. Oh yeah, but the thing is, if one of those guys gets hurt, or one of them has to take a little breather or something like that, I mean. Well, they had one of their draft picks, DJ Davidson. He was an interior defensive lineman. He got injured. He missed most of the season. But I mean, their depth there is just weak, right? Their depth at the end, their front 4 is really good. One of the best. You can maybe put it one of the better, maybe top 10 in all football. With Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. They're 4. But behind them guys, Azeez Ojulari, their one edge rush, he gets injured. He only played a little over 200 snaps the whole year. Yeah, they don't have any depth. They have no depth there. And I said their interior, their middle linebackers just. I mean, a lot of times they'll double team, maybe like Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence or whatever. And then like the interior, the middle linebackers, inside linebackers got to shed blocks, and they just somebody latches onto them, they stay latched. I mean, it's just sometimes the guys don't contain the edge, right? And the guys come like sometimes Kayvon comes crashing down the line of scrimmage, and they run the ball around them, and just a hard time stopping the run this year. Hard time stopping the run this year. So they need They need depth. They need inside linebacker. They could use another good cornerback, and then they need some depth. But hopefully they're gonna have 11 draft picks. So hopefully with some of those draft picks, they'll be able to start filling in some roster spots there. But they also had 11 draft picks last year. 5 of them basically wound up on injured reserve pretty much the whole year. So one of them was an inside linebacker, Darian Beavers, and another one's DJ Davidson, an interior defensive lineman. So hopefully they get a couple of those guys back and they can add a little bit more. But I mean, the thing what they're at right now is that they're adding hopefully some pieces to the puzzle every year. So hopefully each year they're going to get a little bit better. They're not looking for well, of course they want to go to the Super Bowl, but that's not happening next year. But they keep adding some more pieces every year. Sign the guys that they got, sign their draft picks, and keep them together, right? Hopefully within a couple of years, another 2-3 years, they should have a nice solid team. I don't get why the Giants didn't run Saquon much against us. Sometimes he was injured. I know he had a banged up shoulder. I can't remember exactly when he banged up his shoulder, but also, I mean, we had Richie James drop those the 2 fumbles on the punt returns. I mean, those were game changers right there. I know you guys we didn't have a lot of yards against you. I know that, but you guys didn't have a ton of, I don't even know you guys even had 300 yards against us on offense. I'm not even sure. I forgot what the stats were, but I know we didn't have a lot of yards against you either. I mean, that was one of the things, that was one of the keys for the Giants in the beginning early on was a lot of Saquon. But it just seemed like, I don't know if he was getting maybe a little worn down because as the season wore on, he started getting the ball, seemed like less and less and less, like maybe they were wearing him down too much in the beginning. I'm not sure, but I do know he also had an injured shoulder at one point in time. Maybe he was just too much banged up. That's possible. Probably not Lockett dropped in. Oh, yeah. Okay. Did he? Okay. I hate that crap. I hate that crap. Yeah. But I mean, no, you guys were definitely the better team that day. But I mean, just offensively, the Giants were not very good that day at all. Not very good. You're never going to know them. Like, because if there's something wrong with Saquon, like that game or something, you're never going to know that. Their coach Dable, all the guys, they do a very good job of keeping that stuff hush hush. If something's wrong with somebody. Crazy how we remember the negative things from our teams. Oh yeah, yep. Oh yeah. Well, that was a negative, yeah, because that game was just like, whew. That was a loss, right? It was not, I mean, you guys certainly deserve to win that game, that's for sure. But but I mean, that was just. But the thing was, it was when we played there 2020, right? Yeah, that was the year with the no fans. That's we went in there. You guys had Russell Wilson. Of course, there were no fans there. But we went in, I was at 17-12 we won, or 17-13 or something like that. And we had Joe Judge in there and all. And we had Colt McCoy as our quarterback. And we had Wayne Gallman running the ball. So Barkley wasn't in there. Daniel Jones wasn't in there, right? We had a backup running back, a backup quarterback. We went into Seattle. We wound up winning the game with Joe Judge and all of that, right? So this time we had Barkley, we had Daniel Jones, all of that. We looked horrible. Colt McCoy, yeah. Well, I think he had like 105 yards passing. I think the whole game. The Giants had like 160 or 70 or 80 yards rushing. Giants had some rushing yards again, but I think if I remember, Colt McCoy had like 105 yards passing. He didn't really win the game, but he didn't lose it either. But he's one of those crafty veterans, kind of crafty, but experienced. I mean, I guess they tried to keep him out of harm's way, so he didn't lose the game for the Giants, right? Oh yeah, I was there when you guys false start 11 times. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that was horrible. It was funny because I think the third kick that Jay Feely missed, I was watching on TV, and because I think it was nationally broadcast, I think, because both teams were good then. It was an exciting game. Jeremy Shockey, the Giants tight end. He was like looking in the camera just before the kick was going to go on. And Jeremy was like, doing something, he was making some kind of face or something like, yeah, we're going to kick it. We're going to win the game and all of that. And then Feely missed it. And then the crowd started going crazy. And Jeremy was like, I mean, it pissed me the frick off, but it was kind of funny. If you look back, I don't know if they have the highlights in the game or something like that, but they show Jeremy Shockey like looking into the camera. So somebody had the camera on him and he was looking into it, making a happy face. And then he missed the field goal and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, that was a tough one. That was a tough one." Yeah, I mean, it almost got to the point where you just almost expecting to miss the damn kick. I was like, what are you gonna do? Huh? Yeah, imagine. That's one of the things. Once again, you're talking about remember the negative things. Yeah, I remember that one. Oh yeah. Oh, did you? Okay, you remember that? Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was funny because we got down there and he was like looking in he was making some kind of happy face or something like that or whatever. and of course, Feely misses the kick and the crowd's going freaking crazy and Shockey's like, yeah, you don't want to celebrate too early, but it is what it is. I mean, you can walk up and down the field all day long, but if you don't score, it's not doing you any good. You've gone to almost every home game since, 2004. It's almost last 20 years. Wow. Woo. Yeah, you home season tickets, do you? I know because I don't have season tickets for the Giants or anything like that. Yeah, okay. But because I know, like, if you try to go to a game now, I mean, you go to like StubHub or something like that, and you get good seats. I mean, you're talking like whatever, $500 or $1,000 for a seat. I mean, I go to one game a year. My son's a Cowboy fan, so me and him, we go to a Cowboy game on the road every year. This year we went to Lambeau Field, so it was me and my son. We went to Lambeau Field. It was a good game. The Packers won. They won in overtime, 31-28. Really, really good game. The Cowboys were up 28-14. The Packers came back, tied it up, and then they won it in overtime. But we were like right on the 50-yard line. It cost like a little over $1,000 for the two seats. But I go with my son. So, between like the hotel, the airfare, and the tickets and all, it costs a couple grand. So that's what I do. So next year, my son, we're going to try to go to two games. We're going to try to go to Buffalo and Miami next year because the Cowboys are playing in Buffalo and are playing in Miami next year. So we're going to try to go to two games. So we're going to try to hit a different stadium each year. We're trying to go around, possibly see all the stadiums, but I go with my son. I get to spend some time with my son. He's a Cowboy fan. I sit there and I just enjoy it. Every time we go, I'll tell you what, every time we've gone to a Cowboy game, it's been close. I mean, so we're not disappointed, right? Most of the time they do lose, but the games are always close. So I said I get to spend some time with my son. I watch a game. We're at a different stadium every time, different crowd, different atmosphere, and everything like that. And the games are usually really good, so I have fun. But so I always go to like usually one game a year. But usually between the tickets and the airfare and all that, if you got to fly, you're talking a couple grand. So that's where I don't go. I don't go watch the Giants. If I want to watch the Giants, I watch them on TV. I got the DirecTV Sunday ticket, which I don't think it's going to be on a DirecTV anymore after this past season. But I watch the Giants every week. I'm going to hop off. Yeah, I got to go too. Oh, that's awesome. Green Bay's and oh my God. Yeah. Oh, nice stadium. Seriously though, if you ever want someone to stream about that Hawks. All right, yeah. Well, I've been on for an hour too. Usually I'm only on for half an hour, but it's great talking to you. Thank you. It's nice to be able to shoot the shit with somebody because sometimes I just, and I go on and on and on and on and on and but I mean it's nice to talk to somebody else. It's really, really nice. Thanks. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your comments and your questions and all that and everything. It's great talking to you. Well, guys, it's been almost an hour. Whoever's there, yep. You too. Have a good one. Anybody's watched any of this? Thank you. If anybody spends any time at all watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.